am so excited to paint this with you. So we are going to paint the wooden sleigh ride. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint my railings first, and I want to do a metallic silver for that. So I'm just going to get my 1-inch brush, and I'm just painting one side, the outside. Just make sure you paint opposite sides. I mean, you could paint both sides, I guess. Maybe I'll do that because if you see it from the other side, yeah, I'll paint both sides. I just want to paint one side though because I'm setting it down on the table to dry. So then that way I don't have paint all over the place that gets all over my sleeves, which I tend to do from time to time. Yeah, and this, this just can get slopped on. It doesn't have to be painted in any particular way. You just have to be careful of, getting like a glob of it in the corners. You can kind of see. Normally I wouldn't paint something on top of painting something else, but I haven't painted this yet, so even if I do drip on it, it doesn't matter because I can paint right over the top of it when it dries. So I just want to get this painted. This is the easy part. Okay. Okay, that's one. It is cold outside and I've got my favorite cup of, I want to call it Java, but it's really not Java. It's mud water, which is like a matcha tea with cinnamon and turmeric and reishi mushrooms. It's really healthy, but it also has a very earthy taste to it. So I put cream and agave syrup in it, and it's so good. It's just really good on a cold night. Okay, and then I'm going to paint this piece. Oops, I did it. There's enough times when I have to be really, delicate and careful when I'm doing details in a painting. So when I get to paint something just blah, it's fun. And I could just slap it on there. Alright, we'll let these pieces dry and then I'll paint the other side in a little bit. Meanwhile, this, we're going to paint the background. I've kind of gone back and forth on what colors to paint the background. I've done it in gray, but I think I'm going to try a very pale icy blue. If it's too blue, I might mix some light gray with it. But I'm going to try it and see if I like it. So we're going to start out with a clean brush and just use your big 1-inch brush for this, or a chip brush if you have one of those on hand. So I'm just painting like crisscross back and forth. I don't want any particular brush stroke. I don't want it to be just straight up and down because we're going to have trees that go straight up and down. So it'd be better to have kind of a choppy, I guess, an airy, choppy background. Like you're looking through a forest at it's not really necessarily a clear blue sky, but because we're going to have this wood as a background color, it might make it like a foggy, like a little icy air, ice in the air feeling. Because it's wood, it's actually soaking up a lot of this paint. I wanted it to go up against the wood background. I think I like this. I think it does give it an icy look. That's what I wanted, was something that would kind of give it that cool colors, cool feeling. Even though this color actually is, it might be warm. It's just a muted color. I hope it covers that spill I did with the silver. Might have to go over that a little deeper. We just want to get this paint. I apologize, my video skipped painting the rest of that board, but we're just painting the sides now. Okay, so to trace out the design, make sure that your background painting that you did is completely dry. Use a heat gun or a hair dryer to dry it completely if you're just quickly going on to the next stage. So we're going to trace it out. Get your carbon paper out. Make sure that your carbon paper has the shiny side down. You can even mark on it to make sure that it is the right side. And hold on to your design so that it doesn't shift while you're tracing it. And I like to tape mine together. I suggest doing that because otherwise these will shift. Okay, and let's just trace this out. So you can just start with wherever you can feel the edge. So I'm going to start right there. Okay, so my pattern, so that I remember what I've traced and what I haven't traced yet, is I am tracing the sides of the trees and their branches first. Just the sides and the branches, then I'm going to go back and do the lines. I could have done one tree at a time, so however you want to trace it and remember what you've drawn so far is fine. There's no exact rule of how to trace something. But hopefully the tracer helps you. And this is a pretty simple drawing. You could draw this out yourself. Add in any details of your own that you want. Okay, and then I'm going to draw in the cute little birds. Okay. Alright, so I think I got all the trees, the two birds, and then the word joy. the snowman. Start with his hat. All right. I'm hoping, I'm going to hold this down for a second and make sure that it traced everything. Okay, looks good. So we can put the tracer away and put the carbon away. You can reuse your carbon many, many times. Okay, so actually our first step with the painting is we're going to take a 1-inch brush or a 1/2-inch flat brush. I'm going to use my 1/2-inch flat brush. I'm going to get a generous coat of white paint. Oops, I had a little paint booger in there. It's when the paint sits in the bottle too long and dries. I bought brand new bottles of paint and it does that. Okay, generous coat of white paint, and we might want to mix it with a touch of gray paint into the white, and then we'll blend it in a circular motion for the snowballs, snowman's the snowman's ball. That doesn't sound right if I say snowman's balls. Oh, the body of the snowman. How about that? Okay, so we're gonna paint the bottom part of the snowman in a circular motion. And you can paint right over his book and hands. And we can go back over this with a little bit more white to brighten it up on like maybe one side just as a highlight. But we want to differentiate the snowman with the bright white snow. Okay, so all I've done is I've taken a dot of black and mixed it with a little white to create some gray. So I've got a little bit of gray and a little bit of white on my brush. So I'm actually going to kind of go around this scarf a little bit. I'm thinking though that, yeah, he's probably that round. And I want to cover those, the carbon outline. and then his face also. Okay. Then I'm going to clean off my brush, and I'm going to use just white. In fact, I might grab my 1-inch brush for this because it's such a large area to paint the bottom part of the snow. I just want to get all the blue out of it. Okay, so I'm just going to grab some white. So we're painting, you see how we're painting the white just kind of, you know, in little snow hills, snow piles. And if it starts to drip in between, try to brush that out because you don't want to have big drips. Okay, and then we also want to make some, you might want to take your brush, like wipe both sides of your brush to create that thin line and mark out where your birch trees are going to be. That one is actually about the width of my paintbrush, so I can just go, I'm going to kind of go around this lettering because I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it again. Yeah, I can see the lines underneath the white, so you can paint right over it. If you do a thin line, a thin coat.
My dog Cupcake and my cat Mochi are always in the art studio with me. It's very sweet. They love to just hang out wherever I'm at. So I have my little buddies with me, and you could probably see a little bit of Cupcake under my painting table right here.
Okay. It's a little bit odd because I ran into my snowman, but I'm going to go back over the snowman with some more white. Okay. All right, so that's our first coating of everything. Okay, the next part we're going to use our 1/2 inch flat brush, and we're going to dip in some black, and I'm using a very, very thin amount to get that nice thin line in my brush, because I'm going to be using that just to paint in some of these highlights in the tree. I forgot to get my branches, so I'll do that with my smaller brush as well. Need to thin out my brush, it's getting a little too thick looking. Okay, so we'll rinse that real good, and then I'll grab some white paint with the same brush. and paint in just some of the white branches. Okay. Now we can use the same brush and paint with some of the black paint. We're going to paint in the snowman's hat. The hat has a little bit of a curve at the top. If you feel better, easier using a round brush, you can use a round brush to do this, but I like the flat brush. It actually gives me a feeling of control, of being able to make those straight lines. Even though the hat's curved, it's like a smooth edge. Okay. Cute hat. Okay, now we can take black, and again using a thin line by wiping both sides of our brush onto the plate, we can outline these trees with as thin a line as you can make, very light pressure, and let the line fall down past the snowbank, because that puts the tree into the snow rather than making it look like it's behind the snow. And this cleans up your tree lines a little bit. And if the trees have a little curve, that looks natural. And then you can even go underneath the white line of the branch that you just made to give it that little bit of a shadow look. See how it gives it that 3D look to it? I'm using my pinky finger to hold on to the board. I do that to brace my hand to keep it steady, because sometimes it shakes a little bit and can cause a curvy line. I'm not moving my hand, I'm keeping my hand and my arm steady, and I'm just pulling my arm back. Okay, it's starting to look a little more like a forest. Okay, let's get on to the next step. I just want to add in a little bit of detail to these branches. Okay, I want to try something fun with you. I'm taking my painting knife and I'm just scraping some white paint. And just in a few areas, I'm just scraping a little bit of white paint. I'm not I'm not grabbing any more paint until this paint is done. I just have to lay my painting knife flatter and flatter. But what it does is it just gives it this very birch tree look. Can even grab a little bit of my gray. We go against on the other side. And make sure if you're doing it, you're pulling it straight across, sideways. You want it to just be straight across. I need a little bit more white. I love doing trees and branches with my painting knife. I think it just gives it such a much more realistic look to it. Because the bark on trees, it just doesn't, it's not a uniform pattern. It's all different. And then you could, I'm going to do it with a little bit of black instead of just those painted lines. See how it gives just a little different texture? Start it from the edge and pull it over. It actually looks cool when I go across the white with it, because birch actually is kind of a mixture of black and white. It's not, it has more of like grayish tones in it. That looks more birch to me. I like that. Just using a little, that's almost too much, a little tiny bit. So now I'm going back over some of the black that I did, and it's making a gray muddled design over the birch trees, giving them much more dimension and interest. Looks a little more real. This little skinny tree is kind of hard to grab with the black and white with the knife. There we go. And I didn't get any white on that. There. that has a too thick of an edge of black right there, so I'm going to try to thin it out with some white there. Looks good. Much better. So this is your bonus for the day. And I want you to pay attention to the angle and the flatness. So the angle is this straight edge. I'm lining it up with the edge of the tree, and I'm not up like this. I'm flat like this going across. Okay? Well, I hope that gives you a little more interest to your tree. I hope you like that. So now we're going to go in with a second coating of white to our snowman ball. So I'm just going to kind of paint in a circular pattern here a second coat of white. Maybe not all the way to the outer edge, just to give him some the gray as a dimension. Okay. And now I also want to add a little more snow. I'm giving a little shadow to the snowman here. Okay, now with my liner brush, your little thin liner brush, dip into the black paint and wipe it off on the plate, pull it so that you get as thin of a edge as you can get with the liner brush. And we're going to paint in, let's see, we need to do the book first before we paint in the arms because the arms are on top of the book. So let's actually we'll do the eyes. And the mouth. And he's got a couple little buttons in front here. Okay, let's paint the joy letters. So get your gold out. I'm going to try it with my liner brush, but if it's not strong enough, I might need to use my 1/2 inch. Let's see. We want to do, yeah, we want to do this in gold. So let's see, the joy was like right across here. I'm going to probably have to paint this a couple times. Partly just trying to find where where my lines are. Okay, I think I found them. Okay, and then, oh, this goes all the way back here and around here, and then it curls right here. Okay. Okay, that looks pretty. I like it. We might outline it with some, not outline the whole thing, but maybe underline it in some black maybe, I think. Okay, so let's paint our green book, put our gold away. Get out your green. Let me see if I have enough green in this. I was using this for one of my paint parties. I think I have enough. It's still good. Because I only need a dot. I didn't want to have to go get a whole new bottle of paint. Okay, so the book is the arm came here. The book is like right here. And it comes down to about here, I think. Something like that. Okay. Okay, get out your little liner brush again and grab some orange paint for Mr. Snowman's nose. Make sure it's nice, bright orange. There we go. You gotta have a carrot nose. Okay, keep that liner brush in your hand, grab some black paint. We should be able to make our arms now. I'm also going to outline this book in black. I can write the word hymns or something on it. Okay, liner brush. We're going to give the birds a little black beak and a black eye and a top hat if we want, but let's start out by just giving them, find the bird's shape here. They're just little red teardrops that are sideways. Really cute little red birds. Really easy little red birds. Okay, so just do a thin coating the first layer. We'll come back, we'll give this a little bit to dry, and we'll give it a second coating, and that will cover up the tree lines. Okay, because you can see the trees right through the birds right now, but don't worry about that. I'm wondering if we should use our 1/2 inch to do the scarf. I think I'm going to get the 1/2 inch to do the scarf. You can use your liner if you want, but I just feel like I can get a nicer edge. I'm going to get the water out of my brush. I'm going to grab a little bit of red, flatten it out so I can get a nice sharp line. Okay, and then this line, this goes like, kind of goes and then around that way. And this one just comes out and around. The reason I'm brushing it sideways like this instead of long ways is because it's making it a little bit more solid looking. I'm going to go back over it with the red again when it's a little bit drier. Okay. And what else can I do? I guess we can kind of try to add in a little. Nope, that's. I'm going to get my dryer out. I would suggest that for you also if you have one close by. Okay, let's try that second coat of red now that it's dry. Oh, much better. The black is really strong, so it may actually need a third coat. I'm not sure. I don't want it to be globby, and I think that's what's happening. I'm going to try the liner brush. I don't have any paint on it. I'm just kind of picking up the globby paint that the 1/2 inch flat made. Okay, and then I'm going to dry that. Okay, now that our birds and scarves have had a second coat and are dry, then we're going to get into our black again with our liner brush, and with the tiniest tip you can, give these birds a little beak. Just little beaks. And a cute little eye. Maybe one little leg. Or two little legs. We're going to outline the scarf just a little bit. I'm going to give a little bit of an outline to the body there. A little bit of an outline to the side of the snowman's head here. A little bit to this side of the body as well. And, oh, the lettering, I think, yeah, I think I'm going to put a very, very thin line just kind of underneath some of the lettering. Just to highlight it. That really makes it stand out. I like that a lot. Just underneath it. That looks good. And then I'm going to rinse out my brush and I'm going to grab some white for a little bit of highlights with the white. So I'm going to highlight the top of the hat here. Maybe a part of the scarf. Maybe the side of the book a little bit. Maybe the top part of the lettering, as if there were snow hanging on top of it. There. Okay, so now with the snow, we want to have a little glob of white, either in a cup or a little pile of snow, because we're going to dip the end of our brush into it to make snowflakes. I have a pretty fat brush on my 1 inch and my 1/2 inch flat brushes, and I have a really tiny, so I don't know if this is going to look good enough. Oh yeah, so like 2 or 3 is about as much as it will, as much paint as it'll hold, 2 or 3 dots. Perfect. I love it. Okay, and when you're finished, then you need to sign your name. Pick a nice color, something fun. Let's see, I don't want my name, you don't want your name to be so bright that it takes away from your painting because you have this odd shape. Okay, so if you have, like, down here we have so much white that if you write your name in here, it's going to draw the person's eye from your painting into your name. So I would use maybe a Sharpie to very small write your name here, or like into the trees might even be better in a black. So I'm going to use my liner with some black paint, and I'm gonna just do it really small right here. So I'm gonna do JR, my initials. And what I might do is put PR plus JR in this tree with like a little heart around it. Okay, there you have it. And then the best way, if you've ordered this as a kit, The best way to put these together, if you have wood glue or a hot glue gun, I'm going to do a hot glue gun to glue the pieces together, but just so that you can see the final look. I never did go back and paint the rest of the inside, but that's okay. Actually, they pop in there pretty good. I think it's because it has paint in it. That one didn't pop in there. The other side popped in there. Yeah, that one doesn't have that sound. Hang on. Yeah, that one's in there good. This one, yeah, that one can come out. So, like I said, um, wood glue or hot glue. Oh, that looks so good. That is cool. And then you could hang it inside a Christmas wreath.
You could hang it on your wall. You can put a decorative bow maybe on the top corner of it or some mistletoe. There's a lot of different ideas you could do with this. So I hope that you had a lot of fun painting this. And yeah, these are pretty sturdy. So if it pops in for you, just use it that way. You don't need any glue for it. If you want just to make it a little extra secure, you can put wood glue or hot glue, like I said. But I hope you enjoyed painting all this and me learning how to shade. And with the little heart that I put at the bottom where my signature is, you can actually put that in the tree. So I might redo this and just put a little, P plus J or whatever you want to put in your little heart carved in the tree. So I hope that this brings you joy and that you have a very blessed day.